grandmother's house, the village of my childhood. Despite her advanced age, my grandmother was tirelessly tending to her garden, a familiar sight from my youth. As she spotted me at the door, she welcomed me with warm embraces and kisses. After ushering me inside, she set about preparing a hearty meal. Despite lacking any appetite, I couldn't resist indulging in her delectable dishes. My late grandfather's presence loomed large in the house, each room a poignant reminder of his absence. When my grandmother confessed that solitude wasn't unbearable, a hint of loneliness glimmered in her eyes. As we engaged in conversation, time slipped away unnoticed. While a part of me longed to return home, I understood that my grandmother would never allow me to leave in the darkness. One night, I awoke to the sound of my grandmother's hushed conversation with an unseen presence. I couldn't fathom who she might be speaking to at such a late hour. Overcoming my curiosity, I ventured to her room. To my shock, my grandmother was nowhere to be found. No matter how many times I called out to her, there was no reply. My confusion deepened as laughter suddenly emanated from my room, paralyzing me with fear. I dared not enter my room and was compelled to search for my missing grandmother. Peering out the window, I glimpsed a man standing by the door, with his back to me, knocking insistently. Paralyzed by fear, I felt lost, so I sought refuge in the closet, where I had hidden as a child during games of hide and seek. There, I spent the night, trembling in the eerie stillness, punctuated only by the persistent knocking and laughter. When morning finally broke, I mustered the courage to emerge from my hiding place, only to find that my grandmother was still absent. Desperate and worried, I set out for the desolate desert to search for her. I went to visit Uncle Michael, a familiar face from my childhood who lived nearby. Upon seeing me, he exclaimed, "Was that you? I was pounding on your door until dawn. I saw the lights on and feared a break-in." His words sent shivers down my spine. When I inquired about my grandmother, the answer I received left an indelible mark on my soul. 5 days prior, my grandmother had suffered a fatal heart attack while on her way to visit my late grandfather.